Half a day, students. For today's lesson, we are multiplying polynomials. In the last video, we learned about 3 different types of polynomials, which we use in Algebra 1. These are monomials, trinomials, and binomials. And these are named for the number of terms. Monomials will be 1 term, binomials 2, and trinomials 3. When multiplying any type of polynomial by a monomial, by a polynomial with 1 term, all we have to do is distribute. So we multiply each of the terms inside the parentheses by the one on the outside. So I'm actually going to distribute 3x squared to 2x and 7. So 3x squared times 2x is what we'll have for our first term, plus 3x squared times 7. Multiplying these, I'll just multiply the numbers and then multiply my variables. So we have 3 times 2 is 6. X squared times x to the first power is x to the 2 plus 1, which is x to the third power. From there, we have plus 3x squared times 7 becomes 21x squared. And since I have no like terms, then that's actually the simplest form that could be in. The same goes for multiplying monomials by trinomials. So I'm just going to do the same thing, but when I distribute this one, I'm going to actually distribute this negative 5x. So you have to keep in mind that the sign's also going to change. So we have negative 5x times 3x squared minus 5x times negative 2x minus 5x times 6. Simplifying, we have negative 5 times 3, so that's going to give us negative 15. X times x squared is x to the third power. Negative 5 times negative 2 becomes positive 10. X times x is x squared. Negative 5x times 6 becomes negative 30x. No like terms, so all we have to do is box that answer. When we multiply binomials, it gets a touch more complicated, but we do have an acronym to remember how to do it. It's called FOIL. Many of you might have learned this in middle school. We're just going to go over it again. FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, last. Okay? Some people say outer, inner. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so when we do this, we'll go through how to use it. So first means we'll multiply the first terms of each of my binomials. So we have a and a, right? That's my first term. So we'll make this be purple. Then that's going to be a times a. Next, we'll multiply the two outside terms. So that's a and 3. So I'm going to add 3 times a. Next, we'll multiply the two inside terms. So that's negative 4 and a. So minus 4 times a. And lastly, we'll have the last term. So the second one in each of the binomials. So we have negative 4 and 3. So we have minus 4 times 3. From there, all we have to do is multiply and then combine like terms. So a times a becomes a squared. 3 times a is just 3a minus 4a minus 12. From there, combine like terms. We have these two in the middle. Negative 3 plus positive 3 plus negative 4 is negative 1. So we have minus a there. I'll copy down this a squared and this negative 12. No more terms to combine. This is the simplest form. We'll do a few more examples, and when you're multiplying binomials, I suggest you do draw these rainbows just because it helps you to make sure that you're not leaving anything out. So I'll say, okay, first, outside, inside, last. First terms are 2y and y. Outside plus 2y times negative 4. Inside, we'll have 5 times y. And then last, we'll have 5 times negative 4. Again, we'll just simplify. So we have 2y times y, we have 2y squared. 2 times negative 4, so we become negative 8 with the y, plus 5y minus 20. Combine like terms, we have these two in the middle. Negative 8 plus 5 becomes negative 3y. Then I'll just copy these other two. Minus 20. Another example, we have 3q times 3q. Outside, plus 3q times negative 7. Inside, plus 7 times 3q. Last, plus 7 times negative 7. 3 times 3 becomes 9. Then we have q squared. This is going to become negative 21q plus 21q minus 49. Here, when we're combining like terms, we notice that you have negative 21 and positive 21. So they actually cancel each other out. So all I have left are 9q squared minus 49. One last multiplication of binomials. We have this 4z plus 5, all raised to 2. Again, we only distribute our exponent when we have a single term inside. So we have one product in the inside. This one, whenever you have plus or minus, you cannot distribute. Instead, we're going to view this as product with binomials. So anything multiplied by itself, like if we have a squared, that just means a times a. So if I have, so 4z plus 5 squared really just means 4z plus 5 times 4z plus 5. From there, you just FOIL. So you have 4z times 4z. And if you wanted to skip this step where you're writing out the terms multiplied to each other, you can. If you want to jump straight from 4z times 4z to 16z squared, you can go ahead and do that. Otherwise, just write it down. It's just one step. 4z times 5 inside plus 5 times 4z plus 5 times 5. 4z times 4z we said was 16z squared plus 20z plus 20z plus 25. From there, combine like terms. 20 plus 20 becomes 40. Z, 16 z squared plus 40z plus 25. Looking at multiplying a binomial with a bigger polynomial. So in this case, a trinomial. So what we're going to do is distribute each of the terms of my smaller polynomial to each of the terms of the bigger one. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking 6 and I'm multiplying it to everything on the other side. And then after that, I'm actually going to take 2 and multiply that to everything on the other side also. So we have 6x times 2x squared plus 6x times x plus 6x times 1. Then I multiply the other one, so I have plus 2 times 2x squared plus 2 times x plus 2 times 1. Then we'll multiply and combine like terms. So this will give us 12x cubed plus 6x squared plus 6x plus 4x squared plus 2x plus 2. And for this one, we're recalling how we added up our like terms in the previous video. You can do it vertically, where you write all the x squareds on top of each other, the x's on top of each other, and just the straight numbers on top of each other. Or you can just go from greatest to least and then combine what you can from there, which is what we're going to do right now. So, okay, I have only one that has x cubed, so I'm going to write that down. 12x cubed. And then I have two different x squared, so I'll combine those. 6 plus 4 is going to give me 10. Then I have 2 x's, so I have 6x and 2x. 6 plus 2 becomes 8. And then I have just the 2 at the end, so plus 2. A lot of times I like to either cross these out or underline them just to show that I already used that one and I don't need to add it again at the end. And it also helps me to find out, okay, did I miss anything? And since there are no other like terms that I need to combine, I'll just box this answer. We'll do this one more time. Now we have a negative, so just be careful when you're distributing that. So looking at this first one, I'm going to distribute 2x to each of the ones on the right hand side. So we have 2x times 4x squared plus 2x times negative 3x plus 2x times 3. Then I'll go into the other side, negative 3 now times each of these. Negative 3 times 4x squared minus 3 times negative 3x minus 3 times 3. Now I'll just simplify or multiply everything. So we have 2x times 4x squared. That becomes 8x cubed. This will become negative 6x squared. X times x becomes x squared. 2x times 3 is going to be plus 6x. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Then we have the x squared there. Here we have plus 9x minus 9, combining like terms. Okay, there's only one 8x cubed, so we'll have 8x cubed. We have 2x squared. Negative 6 plus negative 12 is going to give us negative 18x squared. Be careful of signs. For x, I have 6 and 9, so we have plus 15x minus 9. Nothing else to combine. That's our final answer. And the last thing we're going to look at again is another connection to geometry. In the last video, we went over finding the perimeter of a shape if we had expressions for its sides. Now we're going to be looking at area. So when we have perimeter, all we're doing is adding up the sides, right? So for area of a rectangle, the area is equal to length times width. And the length is just usually the long side, and the width is going to be the shorter side of the rectangle. So all I need to do basically to find the area of this, A is going to equal to length times width, and my length is 6x plus 9. And the width is 4x minus 1. And when we multiply these, we'll just use the FOIL method as we're multiplying two binomials. So we'll just do first, outside, inside, last. So the area is equal to the first one, 6x times 4x, is going to give us 6 times 4 is 24. X times x is x squared. Outside, we have 6x times negative 1, so it's going to be negative 6x. For the inside, 9 times 4 is going to give us 36, so plus 36x. 9 times negative 1 is going to give us negative 9. Combining like terms, we have these two x's in the middle. Negative 6 plus 36 is going to give us 30x. That's a positive 30x. Then I'll just copy down these two, 24x squared plus 30x minus 9. So our expression for our area is this. And we're not given any units, so we're okay, and we don't have any actual numbers, so I can just give the expression. 24x squared plus 30x minus 9.